Hi, and welcome to the Minzy Report. Today on the Minzy Report, we're going to be discussing the evolution of political parties through United States history. I am Minzy, and here to join me in this very special episode is my most promising employee, Fred the intern. Fred the intern.
Hi, Minzy. I'm so sorry I'm late.
Nice no, I don't hug.
I'm sorry.
See that line?
Yes.
That metaphorical line? That is where you're supposed to be when I called your name the first time. Do you have a pass? Do you have an excuse that you're late?
I was going to get you coffee.
I have coffee. Please, sit. Everyone, this is Fred the intern.
It's actually Paul, but,
Very good, very good. Why don't you tell them something about yourself, Fred?
Well, I've been interning here for about a year, and I really enjoy working on broadcast television. My mom says I have a face for TV, and I just love working for Minzy. Oh my goodness,
Who wouldn't?
He's like a god, like the great Minzu Ra. And also, my name is Paul.
Great. Glad to have you here. Now, down to the brass tacks. Political parties have been around since the beginning of American government.
I'm so sorry, Minzy, but I just have to stop you. I love your songs.
Well, I'll be darned. They're original.
Ooh.
I like to switch it up, wear some fancy socks every once in a while. Thank you. Anyway, political parties have been around since the beginning of American government. Because of the different parties, we are able to divide our candidates up into unique sections. The people in a party share like ideas and wants for the direction of our great country, America.
We have divided our history into 5 different party systems based on the 2 major political parties, the amount of support they had, and what major issues were in the time period. Although there's usually only 2 major parties, there have often been third parties in at least one of these eras.
As you'll surely find out through our detailed explanation, it was difficult for any third party to maintain their individual stance because they usually got absorbed by one of the 2 major parties.
In 1792, it marked the start of the first political party, which consisted of the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, which later became known as the Democratic Republicans.
Okay. Can you please explain why both parties formed, Reed?
Well, they were formed due to Constitution.
Anyway, the Federalists were commonly northern merchants who had strong trade ties to Britain. They seek to ratify the Constitution and wanted to maintain a strong central government.
On the opposing side were the Anti-Federalists, who later became known as the Democratic Republicans. They were commonly small Southern farmers who wanted stronger state governments and strongly opposed ratifying the Constitution.
Anti-Federalists became known as the Democratic Republican after the Constitution was ratified. Because the Constitution was no longer an issue, the central battles changed to the French Revolution, the Alien Sedation Acts, and the Bank of the United States, all which the Federalists supported and the Democratic Republicans did not.
The early 1800s led to the demise of the Federalist Party. The party lost strong leaders such as Washington and Hamilton. Along with the leaders, they also lost major support when they refused to support the War of 1812.
1824 marked the end of the first party system, and 1828 marked the beginning of a second party system. To find out more about the second party system, join us again after this commercial break.
Hi, Charlie. There you are. 9 months old, and look how cute you are. It's your big sister Teddy here, and I'm making this video diary to help you survive our special family.
Coming this spring.
And we're back. As I mentioned before the commercial break, 1828 marked the beginning of the second party system. This system included the Jacksonian Democrats and the Whig Party. Also during the system, several third parties were formed for the first time in political history.
The first third party to ever be formed was the Anti-Masonic Party, which was formed in 1828 due to their fear of the Freemasons, whom they thought controlled the courts, economy, and the government. They hoped to get rid of all Masons in public office. As the Whig Party was formed in 1834, many of the anti-Masonic Party members started joining this party, leading to its decline.
Another influential third party that was formed in this era was the Free Soil Party, which was instrumental in the election of 1848. This party fought passionately for the Wilmot Proviso, which would have banned slavery from any territories acquired from Mexico. Much like the Anti-Masonic Party, this third party declined once they started to form with the Republicans.
One of the main parties in this second party system, as we mentioned before, was the Whig Party. This Whig Party was led by Henry Clay. The party was formed to oppose the Jacksonian Democrats. They wanted Congress to have more power. They also wanted economical protectionism and modernization.
What did you just say?
Economical protectionism and modernization.
Economical?
Yes.
No. Nope. You cannot do that in that context. That is economic protectionism. Okay, so moving on from my English lesson, the Jacksonian Democrats were formed when the Federalists collapsed and the Democratic Republicans split into two. The Democratic Party is still a prominent player in today's political system.
The Compromise of 1850 played a role in the demise of the Whig Party. They were split on to whether or not to allow slavery in these new territories. They were absorbed by the National Republicans, who were the anti-Jacksons in 1832.
So, just to recap before moving on, one side of politics evolved from the anti-Federalists to the Democratic Republicans to just the plain Democrats. The opposing side went from the Federalists to the Whigs and eventually the National Republicans. Along the way, other third parties were formed with slightly different ideas, such as the No-Nothing Party to oppose any type of immigration.
The third party system, which lasted from 1854 to the 1890s, consisted of the Republican Party and the Democrats. The Republican Party had many of the same economic ideals as the Whigs and were very anti-slavery.
The Democrats, however, mainly consisted of Southerners and were very pro-slavery.
The main battles of this political era were the Civil War, which party took opposing sides to slavery. Also, Democrats were for the New Deal, while Republicans were against it.
Some third parties were also formed in the party system. One was the Greenback, who wanted to unback money, and they were extremely opposed to national banking, the Coinage Act of 1873, and the Resumption Act of 1875. Another third party that was formed toward the end of this system and into the fourth party system was the Populists, who were also very against national banks.
Ultimately, the Greenbacks declined because they only held one seat in the House. Later on, the Populists faced disaster when they tried to band with the Democrats and could never recover.
Alright, now before we go into the fourth party system, we'll be back right after these commercial breaks.
I'm going to be effective.
Have you ever lost track of time?
See.
Oh no. Boys, let's go. You're going to be late for elite soccer. Come on, we gotta go. Guys, good thing we have the Nissan Murano.
Ooh, television in the back seat.
With
Cool.
its 6-cylinder engine and 189 horsepower, we will get you there in no time. Don't you worry. Oh goodness, I went over a curb. Oh, turn up the radio. Speakers all around. And another 6 stations.
Sing to the Lord, praise His name.
Don't worry, we have 103.3 FM.
Begin by honoring God and reading.
The Lord is okay with us today.
For our congregation.
Yes, my name's
Patrice, get your act together.
Sorry.
And we're back! Okay, so going into the fourth party system, which lasted from 1896 to 1932, the same two major parties reigned. The major changes were the political battles that were being fought. Instead of slavery, the main issue shifted to more progressive era challenges.
The Republican Party dominated during this time period, and many new third parties came out of the woodwork.
These included the Socialists, which were against World War I but neutral to World War II, and the National Women's Party, who fought for women's right to vote but ultimately failed.
The fifth party system went from 1933 to present day. We still had the same two major parties, the Democrats and Republicans. Along with those, we have the Independents, who were able to vote whichever way they please.
We also have the Green Party and the Libertarian Party, who are trying to get in a more powerful position in order to spread their ideals.
The Libertarian Party is also trying to abolish the two-party system. However, this is very, very unlikely, because it's worked for so long. I mean, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Smaller parties tend to get absorbed into the larger parties anyways, so it doesn't look like they'll be around for a lot longer.
In this graph, you can see that among the different amounts of support varies for each one of the years. The Bull Moose Party took a lot of support in 1912 after Roosevelt was shot.
In this other graph, you can see the different parties throughout the years and how they branch off to other smaller parties.
Along with these parties we have discussed, we also have a few other parties in our history, such as the Guns and Dope Party, the Straight-Talking American Government Party, the Surprise Party, and my personal favorite, the Rent is Too Damn High Party.
Political parties will always be around, and it is an effective way for us to distinguish the feelings towards specific issues in our country. Signing off, this is...
No.
I'm sorry, I don't do that.
No, I sign. You're the guest.
Oh,
I sign off.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for joining us in this very special episode of the Minzy Report. Thank my less promising intern,
It's Paul.
Paul. Now, I will end like I always do, with an awesome history joke. What was the most popular dance in 1776?
By gosh, jolly D, I don't know.
The Independence!
Oh, that's so funny!
Oh.
So I'm
Signing off, this is Minzy.